Hi, I'm here with Chris Gordon from Dodson Horrell, and he's happily agreed to answer some questions for us today. So the first question would be kind of looking at the involvement of Dodson and Horrell in the run-up to the games and supplying the games.
Yes, back in 2010, the British Equestrian Federation approached Dodson Horrell to see if we would be interested in supplying nutritional support for Team GBR in all the disciplines: show jumping, eventing, dressage, and the para dressage. We were obviously delighted to be selected, and since then we've been talking to all the squads in all the disciplines and going through the nutrition that's involved with quite a varied range of horses, as you can imagine, and varied requirements. And that's developed, and we've got to know them and their requirements, and we've had a lot of useful information coming back from them, and they've obviously got a lot of support from us during that time. And the feeding regime, what they're feeding, quantities they're feeding, assessing it all, and then recommending any fine tuning. Obviously, at this stage of things, we'd be reluctant to make major changes, just in case it didn't suit. But in a lot of cases, we can fine tune and just advise maybe an addition of a supplement or a balancer, and just making sure that certainly the elite teams are on the right footing, but also we do it for the development squads too. So we're very much educating the development teams. And earlier this week we were having a session with all the grooms, so the Team GB grooms. We've got another one next week where we go through the basics of nutrition. They get an opportunity to discuss some of the problems they may have, and to share problems amongst each other and amongst disciplines. So that's very valuable.
Yes, absolutely.
But we've been supplying nutritional support to Team GBR since 2010, and we're on contract until the end of 2012, and hopefully we'll continue it. And we also put the feed in to important events like the World Equestrian Games a couple of years ago. We shipped all the feed that was used into America. This year it will be a lot easier because it's obviously in the UK, and there'll be a lot of the riders from Europe probably basing themselves in the UK. So taking the feed in is going to be an easier job. But then in 4 years' time it will be Rio, so that again will be a logistical problem, a new challenge. But we work quite closely with the BEF, and they come into Dodson Horrell and work with our team, so to make sure all the feed is packed as they want it. So there's no nasty surprises when they open the container at the other end.
What kind of, so moving away from London, which is obviously you said it's going to be much easier.
Yes.
What sort of challenges did you face when you were kind of shipping them out?
I think the biggest challenge is getting all the paperwork done correctly, because America is particularly hot. America and Australia seem to be the most difficult countries to get feed stuffs into. They're very concerned about importing pests and the likes, and that the feed fits in with their regulation. And it's often finding out what regulations you have to adhere to, and which forms need to be filled in, because if you miss one out, then the feed sits in the container in the docks until you've got that feed sorted out. It often means involving DEFRA and the vets and the like, so it's not a 2-minute job to sort it out if you get a problem.
No, it's not as simple.
But we ship feed all over the world, both for people like the Team GBR teams, but also for racehorses that are doing the Melbourne Cup or racing in America or the Middle East. And we export quite a bit of feed anyway, so our team is getting more used to all the paperwork that's involved. And we tend to overdo the paperwork. If there's something that we think needs doing, then we do it just in case. And if it's redundant, then that's easier than not having what they want.
Okay, well, I think that's perfect.